Fans have been wondering about the status of the Terence Crawford vs. Errol Spence rematch, and the fight has now been confirmed. While most people have praised Crawford for his previous win over Spence, Keith Thurman doesn't think that he deserves all that credit. Keith stated, "Are you king of the hill now? Yeah. Do you deserve it? Yeah. But do you still think you beat almost nobody? You didn't beat up a real champion, kid." Everyone knows that if you put Thurman in the ring with that Errol, he gets wiped. He gets wiped by a lot of people. And if you put Thurman in the ring with you on that same night in Vegas, it ain't the same fight. We've got interviews with you on ESPN saying Keith Thurman is a tougher fight than Errol Spence. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your career. You don't want the fight? That's fine. Bob Arum, on the other hand, believes that Terence is completely unbeatable in his weight class, and he thinks the only thing to put that at risk is the ambition of moving up in weight. Bob stated, "I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford, and I told you when he fought Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner. Canelo is used to fighting at a particular level, and I don't think that Terence can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can hurt Terence. But at 147, I think Crawford is unbeatable." Sean Porter spoke about the possible coaching changes for the rematch.
The camp has to be honest, starting with Derek James. Derek has to say, what did I miss? How did I not see that? And if he can't analyze and see that how he missed it, what he missed, then he's gonna have to bring somebody else in. Hey, you know Terence Crawford, what you think about him? And what do you think I can do with this machine right here?
This is
compare this machine.
Yeah, what
to
can
beat
we
that
do
machine?
to beat that?
When Derek James heard the rumors about Spence leaving him, he didn't have too much to say to set the record straight. James stated, "I don't have anything to tell you about it because it's nonsense. When we read it, he was over at my house. He's been over 2 or 3 times since the fight, and that was one of them. There's nothing really to talk about for me. If they really knew about stuff, then they wouldn't say things like that." Tim Bradley couldn't say enough good things about Terence and his possibilities. Tim stated, "I believe in my man Crawford. I think he's different. I think we've never seen anything like him in the sport. As long as I have lived, I can say that. Crawford is a winner. He's physically strong. He's not normal. The dude is an alien." James Toney seems to share this opinion of Terence Crawford, and he actually thinks that Terence reminds him of himself. James stated, "Yeah, Terence Crawford. He fights southpaw just like I used to. He'll punch, slick boxer. He is the best in the game right now." Derek James likes Spence's chance in the rematch, though.
Errol Spence, how's he doing? It's been about 3 weeks since the loss. How's he feeling
He's
right
doing
now?
good. He's okay, man. Things happen. Life happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never really know. Everybody wants to win all the time. Some days not today, and then one of these days.
Now, is he going to get the rematch for Terence?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And you think he'll be victorious in that
I
rematch?
know it'll be
You know he'll be.
different situation, different way, different everything, so yeah.
So some people are saying something was off with him that night. Was he sick or anything?
He looked very off to me, but I mean, doesn't take away from what happened to Terence Crawford's victory. I mean, you know, but that's okay. It's okay.
Right, it's okay. Yeah, because a lot of people were surprised by him getting knocked out. But is he still, you think he's a better boxer than Terence Crawford?
I think my guy's a better fighter altogether. I mean, things just happen. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bad day, bad day.
Stephen A. Smith doesn't think that Spence has any business going back in the ring with Crawford right now, though. Smith stated, "The reality is that Errol Spence Jr. doesn't need to be back in the ring. You saw him. You heard the slurring of the words. I know it was in the immediate aftermath of the beatdown, but my goodness, we know what we saw. I love Errol Spence Jr. I'm not cracking jokes. I'm not laughing. I don't think it's funny. It was just bad. He does not need to get back in the ring with Terence Crawford this year. Me personally, period. He doesn't need to get back in the ring until next summer." Jerome Ennis definitely doesn't see the point in having a rematch, and he thinks that Crawford will just do his thing. Jerome stated, "Bud did his thing. Spence was just off, flat. He wasn't moving his head. He was getting hit with a lot of shots. Bud did his thing. Spence was just off, slow. Timing was bad. It ain't no point. It was one-sided." George Foreman is on Spence's side, and he thinks that he'll win in the rematch. George stated, "You got to go out there and do a crude style of fighting, never landing hard shots. You're not going to get them with a good shot. They got out of the way and just win every round by points. Spence Jr. could have done that, but his corner was not aware of that. They were just sending him out doing what he was already doing wrong, and he just got caught up. He's a nice young fighter. According to Michael Jai White, though, Spence definitely just wasn't ready to take the fight the first time around. Michael stated, "Listen, I had some inside information. A good friend of mine who trains with Spence and was with Spence a month beforehand, he told me, 'No, Mike.' I was like, 'What are you talking about?' He doesn't have it. He's like, 'I wish Spence would not take this fight. He's not ready. His legs weren't there. There was so much that was not there.' A lot of people are trying to go like they knew Crawford was going to do that to him. I don't think anybody knew that." Terence feels pretty good about his chances in the rematch, especially since he knows he can handle a hit from Errol.
When he hit me with a left, boom, it was like bam. I was like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Roy Jones Jr. definitely thinks that Spence would have a better chance at a higher weight, but that's up to Terence to decide. Roy stated, "They should sign the rematch clause, but ask to have 1 or 2 fights in between to get Spence right for that rematch. If they get the chance to work on the other tools in the toolbox, it gives them a much better chance to give a better fight. The weight is not what will make it look different. If he just goes in and fights Bud the way he is now, he could fight him at 154 or 160 and it wouldn't make a difference." Weight seems to play a big factor in this rematch, and Sean Porter also thinks that Spence could win at a higher weight. Sean stated, "I'm an advocate for the rematch. I believe wholeheartedly in Errol Spence Jr. Errol has the ability to make adjustments. He has the ability to come in stronger, especially at 154, and mentally he's strong. I think this is now just a wrinkle in his career, and I think he wants to fix that wrinkle." Even Floyd Mayweather thinks that Spence should be fighting at a higher weight for the rematch. Floyd stated, "I want the best for Errol Spence, so if I was him or I was in his corner, I don't think he should be fighting at 147 pounds at all. I don't even think he should be fighting at 154. I think he should be fighting at 160 or 168. That's just my honest opinion." Greg Hackett definitely thinks that Spence should consider fighting at 147 though, since a fight at 154 would just be a regular fight.
I mean, he got the leverage right now, to be honest. And also, if they fight at 54, it's just going to be a fight. If they fight at 47, it's going to be for undisputed again. I think Spence should take it, simply because not only if Spence win, it's going to be a third fight, but it'll be for titles again. He could call himself champion again. You know what I mean? And then he'll have the leverage. I mean, if you made it once, you can make it again.
Danny Garcia thinks that Spence might have a problem with the weight, but he also thinks that it might have just been a bad night. Danny stated, "Maybe it was the weight. Maybe it was something else that he's not talking about. Some fighters don't like to make excuses, even though I could have made a lot of excuses in my career, but I never did. But some fighters just don't like making excuses, and maybe something did bother Spence, and maybe he just had a bad night. A lot of fighters have bad nights, and that was just the night he happened to have a bad night, because every fighter has a bad night." According to Mike Coppinger, the fight is looking to be set in February of 2024, but the weight is still undisclosed at this time. The tweet stated, "The Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence rematch is reportedly now being planned for February, though it's claimed there's still no agreement on the weight yet." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.